Well, we all know one thing for sure. The world is going crazy in so many different ways. But the time I spend in these Facebook communities reading these comments tells me one thing for sure. People need a mind reset. People learn so many weird things and act in so many strange ways. People need to reset their mind. They need to do this so they can eliminate self-limiting beliefs. They need to have greater clarity. They need better focus in their professional and personal lives. So we're going to spend some time talking about how to reset your mind, because we all have goals and aims and we have an idea of what we want our lives to be like. Despite this, though, many of us fail to reach those goals or to actualize our dreams. Now, why is this? Or to put it another way, what is it that's holding you back? There's a good chance you already know the answer is likely to be that it's you. So all of us have at some point been responsible for getting in our own way, one point or another, either because of limiting beliefs or because of poor habits and lack of discipline. So how many times have you decided that you want to make a change in your life by getting into shape or starting a new business or starting a new job, only to then make zero progress in those areas? What possible reason could you have for this? Now, often it comes down to a lack of faith in yourself. It comes down to limiting beliefs about who you are, what you're worth, even how you're meant to behave. And limiting beliefs are incredibly destructive, largely because we often don't realize they're affecting us. They sit quietly in our unconscious brains and gradually prevent us from fulfilling out our full potential. And more than that, they make us unhappy. They give us a sense of pessimism, which can color everything we do in an unflattering tone. These beliefs act as your reference point. They inform every decision and opinion you make. They form your internal operating system. In other words, every feeling, thought, and experience that you have will effectively flow out of these beliefs. If you don't replace them with positive ones, then you won't be able to get the most out of life or enjoy it, even if you do. The good news, though, is that the brain is elastic. It is always changing, and even our very thoughts are capable of changing the structure of our DNA. This incredible fact means that it's entirely possible to transform the way you think, to reset that operating system, as it were, and to thereby live a happier and more fulfilled life. Speaking of living a happier and more fulfilled life, I want you to join me in my mastermind community at createprofits.online. I'll give you a couple of weeks free to interact with me and see if it's for you. Until then, somebody hip thrust that intro now.
Learn to make money online the right way. You're listening to the Create Profits Online podcast with the dude that puts more glide in your stride, more pep in your step. And if you don't dig this mess, you got the wrong damn address. From the back of the shack, getting down to the nitty-gritty in the big city, here's your host, Todd Snively. And he's looking damn pretty. Let's go.
That's right. Let's go. Let's start talking about actually what are limiting beliefs. And I'm going to start out by providing a few examples of exactly what a limiting belief is. Now, this can be, a somewhat abstract concept to grasp, but when you see them laid out before you, it becomes much easier to understand. So let's say you have a business idea, because I run across this all the time. You're going to provide, let's say, coaching for small businesses and help them get up and started. You'll charge a relatively low flat fee, but when the company gets going, they're going to pay you a slightly larger fee a year later, as long as their earnings have passed a certain threshold. Now, that's a nice idea. Your model involves selling direct to the customer, and the way you plan to do this is by looking for them on Instagram. You're going to find people who post about business plans, and then you'll private message them and simply start chatting. If you spot an opportunity to sell, boom, that's when you pounce. That's the soft sell approach, and it means you can build a relationship and demonstrate your value before you charge them anything. Now, here's the problem, though. You're too scared to contact anyone. Every day you put off messaging your clients out of the blue, and you can't quite put your finger on why. Chances are it comes down to some limiting beliefs, like you don't believe anyone would pay for your business idea, Or you're worried that if you fail, you'll lose something that has been keeping you motivated. Or potentially, you're a shy person and you don't like to disturb people. 3 limiting beliefs holding you back from capitalizing on your dreams or perhaps even getting rich. Now let's try another situation. Let's say you're in a job or a relationship that makes you unhappy. It really doesn't matter which, but you know it won't provide you fulfillment, but you stay there anyway. Why? Because you feel it's the best you're going to get. You think that if you terminate the relationship, you'll end up loveless. Likewise, you'll find yourself on the street if you quit your current job. A lack of esteem means that you don't think you can get better. You effectively think you aren't worth more than that, and this then leads you to make some terrible mistakes. Some people will even stay in abusive relationships because they don't feel that they'll find anything better. Some even feel they deserve the abuse they receive. Did you know that when Stephen King first wrote Carrie, he threw it in the trash? It was his wife who retrieved it for him and told him he was being crazy. And it turns out that we often can't recognize our own good work, or we're too scared to believe in it. Now compare this to someone like J.K. Rowling, who persistently kept sending out her manuscript for Harry Potter despite it being rejected over and over. Imagine if Rowling had King's lack of self-belief. The sad truth of it is that for some people, limiting beliefs are so powerful, they won't even go and speak to their own friends. They believe that they'll stutter or that their friends don't want them there. They think they have nothing to contribute to the conversation. And not all limiting beliefs can seem like negative things on the face of it. For example, how about your sense of self? We all have a sense of who we are, but most of us don't think of this as a limiting belief. Of course, who you think you are is not always limiting, but it can be. The perfect example of this is what happens when you get stuck in type thinking. This is when you think that you are a certain type of person or that you have a certain set of traits, and then you let that dictate who you are going forward. For example, you might have a reputation for being the class clown. As a result, you always cause a ruckus in the office and draw attention to yourself. Eventually, this starts to hurt your career, but you feel as though you can't change that about yourself, as it's something you're known for and an integral part of your personality. Likewise, you might not want to stop smoking because you have always smoked. You might not want to improve your diet because you love being known as the guy who eats everything. You might not approach clients because you think of yourself as shy. As you can see then, limiting beliefs really can be extremely problematic and hurt every aspect of your life. And we've still only touched on a few. For this reason, it's time to start doing something about them. What many people don't realize is that they can actually become luckier by changing their beliefs about themselves and what will happen in their lives. This sounds absurd, but it makes a lot of sense once you understand the logic behind it all. People tend to think that luck is something that is out of their control. After all, that's pretty much the definition of luck. Luck is good things happening to you often that you did not directly cause. Luck is winning the lottery. Luck is finding a $10 bill on the floor. And luck is being in the right place at the right time and meeting the person who becomes the love of your life or offers you that amazing job. But while luck might seem out of our hands, we all know some people who just seem to have all the luck. These are the people who have all the good things happen to them and almost seem to have a charmed life. And for one person to be that consistently lucky, it seems a little statistically improbable. So what's really going on here? It all begins with changing your self-perception and your attitude, and you've already taken the first step by listening to this podcast. And you may have heard of something called the law of attraction. This is the idea that what you put out into the world ultimately dictates what you get back. That as you act, so you will become. Again, this might sound like nonsense, but stop and think about how this might work. Acting like someone who is very successful might mean dressing smarter, acting more assertive and confident, taking on more responsibility, and even walking taller. If you genuinely believe you are successful or destined for success, then you will exude the certainty in everything you do. As a result, you will give off a number of signs that tell people you are successful and confident. They will see you strutting in your smart suit and they will think, there's a successful and capable person. And you know what? They will be more likely to offer you more work, to give you promotions, and to generally help you to succeed as a result. You've heard the expression, dress for the job you want. Well, actually, you shouldn't just be dressing like a pro. You should be taking on that whole personality in every way that you can so that you give off that aura of success, confidence, and smarts. The law of attraction also works in other ways too. Did you know that people who have nicer things often get better Christmas presents? That's because people know that their gifts need to be special, to stand out, and to deserve a place in their home. You should give people with less the better presents because they would appreciate them more. But that's not how life works. Nice things attract more nice things. This is the law of attraction. The bottom line here is that if you don't believe you are capable of greatness, then you likely won't act as though you are. And if you don't act as though you are, you won't be. Hang your head feeling shy and vulnerable, and that is how people will perceive you and therefore treat you. Be scared of everything and you won't take chances that could end up improving your life for the better. But be bold, proud, and powerful, and you can achieve amazing things and transform the way others see you. You can fake it until you make it, but it's better to listen to this podcast series and see how to actually change your very beliefs from the inside out to give yourself a total mind reset. I want to thank you so very much for taking the time to listen to our episode today. And please join us for the next one. We continue talking about how to reset your mind, how to make your life better. Until then, take care.